In the Grand Persian Empire, power was not only written in stone and gold, it was carved into human flesh through punishments so cruel, so unforgettable, that even the strongest men trembled at their mention. Tonight, we journey back into the heart of that empire, to witness how fear itself became the strongest chain holding a civilization together. These were not simply punishments. They were spectacles of terror, crafted to break both body and spirit. Among all Persian punishments, none was more horrifying than Scaphism, also known as the boats. The condemned was trapped between wooden planks, their limbs exposed, their body coated in milk and honey. Insects swarmed mercilessly, while the victim was forced to drink until sickness overwhelmed them. Slowly, day after day, the desert sun and crawling creatures consumed their body. It was not just death. It was a slow decomposition, a living nightmare designed to make an example of the traitor before all who watched. Treason was not forgiven. For Mithridates, once a trusted courtier of Artaxerxes II, betrayal was punished with ashes. Locked inside a chamber filled with burning hot dust, each breath dragged fire into his lungs. The air grew heavier, thicker, until no air remained at all. His death was not by blade or arrow, but by suffocation, an invisible, relentless hand pressing the breath from his body. It was a warning that treason would be remembered only in silence, dishonor, and ashes. In the Persian Empire, theft was not a small crime. It was an attack on order itself. Those caught stealing often lost a hand, cut away in the public square for all to see. It was more than pain, it was permanent shame. A man without a hand was marked for life, unable to work, unable to hide the dishonor. In this way, justice was not private. It was carved openly, a lesson etched into flesh, warning all others to stay loyal to the laws of the King of Kings. When rebellion rose, the punishment was impalement. Under Darius I, thousands of Babylonian rebels were lifted onto wooden stakes, their suffering bodies left as a warning for all to see. Each stake was a message carved into the horizon. Defiance would be crushed, rebellion would be pierced, and the empire's power was eternal. To live under Persia meant living under the shadow of these grim reminders. For crimes of the spirit, adultery, sacrilege, or betrayal, Persians turned to stoning. The condemned was buried or restrained, unable to move, as the community hurled stones until death silenced them. It was a punishment of both body and soul, an act not of one executioner, but of many, as if the empire itself cast its judgment stone by stone. Long before Rome made crucifixion infamous, Persia raised men on wooden frames to suffer slowly under the sun. Rebels, traitors, even corrupt officials were tied or nailed high. Their agony turned into a living warning. Each body swaying in the desert wind was a proclamation of the empire's strength, a grim reminder that loyalty was life, and disobedience was torment. Not every crime ended in death. Sometimes humiliation was enough. To defy the king's orders or falter in duty was to feel the whip. Stripes carved into the skin became living reminders of obedience. Even rivers were whipped when they defied the empire's will. How much more so were men? The whip was not only an instrument of pain, but of memory, binding the body to the authority of the king. The Persian Empire built its greatness not only on conquest, but on fear. Its punishments were not random. They were deliberate messages, etched into flesh and stone, reminding all who lived within its borders that power was absolute. Yet behind every act of terror lay a fragile truth. Even the mightiest empire feared rebellion, disobedience, and human defiance. And so, as we leave the shadows of Persia behind, let us carry one final thought, that history remembers not only the glory of empires, but the pain endured by those beneath them. Good night.